fight in it. Fight in the Netherrealm that way. Locked in with the Odette pick.
Yeah, it's a good answer to the Pharomines. It's also a decent answer to the Roger. It's good if KBG decides to go for a assassin jungler or something a bit more aggressive that wants to come in. The moment that Swan Song comes out, and you're lucky if you don't get stunned before that, it can definitely be a problem. It stops some. I remember with the Odette, when we first saw it kind of appearing back, it was a great answer to the Joy, a great answer to someone that wants to try to get around you, cause a bunch of damage. It was a beautiful answer to that. So I'm guessing that's kind of the idea here from Zen, but instead of going for a squishy burster, they're going to pick up the Martis, who can probably handle a Swan Song and can probably handle a way into that. And not only that, but they pick up the Grok to get that knockup to kind of just bust down the door onto Zen here.
Like literally, Trex, the way you got to see this Odette is you have one job this game, and it's to just burn through the Netherrealm. Like if that's what you do, that's it. That's all. You did your job, because looking at the lineup from KBG, you know, they have a lot of durability too. Anytime you have an X-Borg, this is like 4 health bars. You know, you got to work through, especially when Immortality's online. You know, you got to go through all that. And even Amartys has not popped up as much lately. And interestingly enough, Xeno Zenith goes the Florin. They lock in the Florin for this lineup. So now they have the sustainability at least on their side, because they can actually go ahead and fight these extended fights that typically happen with the Faramis.
I will say this, though. If KBG gets an early gold lead here, if that Marta starts to pop off, having the Florin, yes, you get some sustainability, but it takes a little bit of time, and they don't really have much of a front line. They have the
Fourth looking to get that foot ahead as we look at things here, falling into place. Again, Gnart, I like that he's got the focusing mark with this lineup. Nice good old extra % damage. Don't ask me how much. It's 6%, right?
6%?
Yep. And you know what's funny is I'm yet to see the Warcry pop up, because I love that combination, man. The focusing mark with the Warcry emblem. That's 8 plus 6.
Oh, how much is that? 14?
14. That's right. Good job.
I just winged that one. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, you're pretty good. I'm impressed.
All right, so Tracy doing a good job as well, speaking of good jobs. Just kind of keeping vision on this orange buff, keeping vision on Xeno Zenith. This is another thing. Keep Best Gaming doing a good job, and they're going to play the aggressive route here.
Wow.
Xeno Zenith going to have to withstand this, and if they continue to withstand this, Sasa might not want to let it happen. A lot of damage does land on a Tracy there, and now KBG on the run. LMU going to be the first to fall. Shocker hits him with the Shocker, takes him down. Sasa now also needs to try to get out of this, but Xeno Zenith walks away with 1.
I'm surprised at how aggressive KBG was there for that buff. You know, they wanted that orange. They wanted to put the pressure, and unfortunately, they're the ones that go down to the first blood in the hands of Xeno Zenith. And not only that, but it went to Shocker. So Shocker, the guy with the one job of just pumping out the damage to deal with the Netherrealm, is now getting that first blood, a little bit of that lead on building this Odette on what he has to do. So, you know, I'm just surprised that KBG decided to go all out for that. Hold on.
Ooh, a lot of damage on a Tracy. He can't move. Joe able to get the stun. The stun locks up as well from Shocker, and he's just shredded.
Yeah, I mean, I was not expecting Tracy to get shredded that much sitting here. So they might fight for this turtle still. Joe goes in.
Nice tempting zone to the backside. LMU taking a lot of damage. LMU going to go down. Able to get the kill.
You got all of them.
I got all of them?
I think so.
I think so.
That's why, you know, most people just say heh, because when you're doing the play-by-play, man, you know.
Is it ha or is it he?
It's he. Heh. No, I think heh. All right. Well, Xeno Zenith definitely feeling pretty good about that, and gets themselves a good lead. Turtle up, 3 kills on the dot too. So for Keep Best Gaming, I think really when you're kind of already falling behind at this point, you know, they've got good gold, at least kind of in this sense of with how things have gone. They got, you know, kind of shut down in the early on, trying to be really aggressive in the jungle here. But for Xeno Zenith to get the lead and then KBG to hold it together, but they still want to put pressure. Despite everything happening, it looks like they're going to have to fight.
Comes the Spear of Destruction. He's going to dash in. Shocker able to find Saksa. Tracy now on the run. Wawa looking to maybe help defend, but Xeno Zenith already got 1. And if they can keep on finding 1 after 1 after 1, it's going to equal a game for the side of Xeno Zenith. Keep Best Gaming against the ropes right now. Wawa getting pushed away from Joe. Xeno able to get some nice chip damage onto that gold plating. Zippy going to be able to stack up.
Okay, so they start. I mean, look at this. So, all right, Hehe's a little bit of trouble, but he's got that body of Smith. So he's going to be fine. Look at the bottom side.
A lot of damage on a Wawa. They finally got what they were aiming for. Zippy able to take the tower.
Okay. This is still surprising. I mean, KBG, for a lot of these exchanges, want to play up front, want to fight for it. Even looking at the items, you can already see, you know, Wawa picked up the Skypiercer first item. He's also got the Warcry emblem, but he's going to have to just keep farming because he's getting just kind of beat out of this lane from Zippy. Zippy really showing kind of dominance on this Moskov, and that's the thing, too. You saw this where you have this very heavy, durable lineup from Xeno Zenith in the front side. That's one thing that Fredrin's still great at. He's still, you know, he's still a tanky guy, you know, but he's not as good as he was before, but that doesn't mean he's not still, like, high on that tier list. Fredrin can tank a lot of this damage, and then you have a Terizla with you, plus the healing from a Florin is tough for KBG to deal with. Turtle
Goes over to Zhao, but I was watching that Spear Destruction. He was able to hit right onto Wawa, dashed up there, cleared the wave. And Xeno Zenith just playing so well on the map right now. Joe gonna hit the invade, take this camp away from KBG. And it feels like KBG just can't do anything against the presence of Xeno right now.
That's what I'm saying, man. Joe is literally just sliding into the shots because he knows that he's got the healing from Gnart. And, you know, look at this. Look at the zoning out they're doing on the tier 1, pushing KBG further back. You're wondering where can KBG find the farm they need, because at this point, like you mentioned, Xeno Zenith just really dominating the space around the map and taking these resources. Some of those first items falling into place too, and I love it, right? You see Shocker, he's got that glowing wand early on, has that for the first item. And that also has that built-in passive for the Necklace of Durance, for those of you guys that don't know. So, you know, you have this added benefit of just having a Swan Song ultimate with that passive already from the Necklace of Durance into that glowing wand. So this is all part of that plan, you know, part of that lineup that Xeno Zenith brought to the table. And right now, KBG really kind of struggling to answer to this, to deal with it, even when it breaks down into team fights. So they could possibly just see themselves losing this next turtle even. Spear Destruction.
God, Zippy is just so good at finding everyone right now.
Pretty on
Spear
point.
Destruction. He's Tracy forced to use that ult as a getaway there. And honestly, the more I look at KBG's draft, it's feeling tough for them, man. It doesn't feel like they have many late game options here. They went for a composition that really relies on hitting a snowball, that really relies on getting aggressive early on, and they messed up. They whiffed a little bit in those first few minutes. And now that Xeno Zenith has this lead, but a 3K lead at only 6.5 minutes, it's a problem. Keep Best Gaming has to do something, I think, by this next turtle, maybe by Lord, or else it's just going to slowly. I mean, Xeno Zenith is. There's not going to be any catching up.
I don't think they can fight here, you know, for this turtle. I think they just have to give it up. They got to be watch out too, because Hehehe could actually just set up like that.
Penalty zone does land on Sasa there. Sasa able to just get away. CU keeping vision, but also backs off. All of Keep Best Gaming back under the towers.
Okay, back under the towers. And for Xeno Zenith, they got all these turtles, all the objectives they wanted to. And Zippy is just having a time of his life. You know, he's farming up on this Moskov. He's hitting the Spear of Destructions if he wants to. He's so confident in even the healing with this Florin that sometimes he'll just aggressively even follow up. You know, even if he doesn't actually continue onward trying to get the kills here. That's just Xeno Zenith really pulling through, getting themselves a nice little lead now to work with. So when you kind of look at this for KBG, you got to think, where's this possibility for them to kind of turn things around in their favor? And that really comes down to these team fights. Maybe it's the first Lord. I think that by the time the Lord comes up, you should look to KBG to contest it. They should be in a position that, okay, we'll try to win this fight. The biggest problem for them is playing against Shocker here, playing against that, just the Swan Song pumping out the damage and really dealing with even having the Netherrealm. I don't want to say it completely negates it, but it actually really helps dealing with the Netherrealm in a quick manner. And then you would just allow, you know, the follow-up to come through from Zippy as well, using that penalty zone.
Yeah, something else big to point out is Wawa. You know, even when Roger was the gold lane pick for a little bit there, he had trouble going against things like the Fredrin, going against things that are going to stop you in your tracks and not let you jump into the midst of the fight. And when we look at Xeno Zenith, it's a whole lot of pill. You got the Fredrin, you got the stun coming from Shocker, you have the stun from Nart, you have Zippy who can push you back, and then you add that up with the penalty zone, and literally the whole composition has something to slow Wawa down here. And even though he has 0 deaths, he also has 0 kills. He's behind 14, about 1,400 in gold, I think I saw earlier. It's a problem, and with that being gone, and with Sasa down to death, unable to really unload either, KeepBest Gaming doesn't have any real damage.
Uh-oh.
But the damage, though, does go down onto Tracy there. Out comes Swansong, the dash in, almost finds the kill onto Tracy, but KeepBest Gaming is able to get away, but Xeno Zenith still controlling the river, controlling the pressure.
Gunnar using that flicker. Interesting use of the flicker there, but also that's a whole lot used. Tracy.
Oh, a lot of damage. Shocker does finally go down there. KeepBest Gaming able to find an answer. Wawa looking for more, but he's going to take a couple shots in the face. Penalty zone does come in. Wawa just trying to escape. Not going to be able to do it. No, he dashes away. Now the battle does continue still by this purple buff. Nobody else going to go down. A lot of shots fired. Zippy looking for Siu, but he's able to flicker away. I mean, everybody purifies, flickers, ultimates, but both teams do a great job at disengaging here. Shocker's the only one to fall. Xeno Zenith may be able to take this Lord, though. Will KeepBest Gaming try to contest?
Yo, look at this. I don't know if they're going to do it because it does so much damage. And it looks like KBG is going to pick it up and try to continue on. Xeno Zenith, do they fight for it? Spirit Destruction going to land? Do they fight? Do they reset?
It's hard. It's hard. You really have to know you're going to be able to take the Lord by yourself. Zhao able to come in. Penalty zone does lock on with Shocker on that Swan Song. A lot of damage on Sasa. Siu as well trying to run away will fall. Shocker able to pick up the kill. LMU backing off as well. Lord does it go to the side of Xeno Zenith there. KeepBest Gaming back on the defense.
Oh my goodness.
Look at Joe.
Look at Joe.
Look for the 1v1, the 1v2.
Come on, Joe.
Come on, Joe.
All right. Well, with that, Xeno Zenith, I mean, they're not doing anything crazy here. Wow, Sky Piercer, though. Wow. Going for the execute.
Going for the self-execute. Oh, wait a second.
He wants to fight.
1v1. Oh, if he would have had a little more health.
Yep, just a little bit more health. You know, you were mentioning before all this broke out, Trex, this is why I still prefer, right now, currently, Roger in the jungle. Like, I feel like he struggles in the gold lane in comparison to some of these other picks that are possible, especially, you know, we see a lot of flex even for mage picks being put in the gold lane right now. And so it's definitely a struggle for him to kind of get back into this game, and it's twice now that they've had to deal with a Mozkov.
I think a composition like that, though, takes... Your team has to know what they're doing in unison, right? You need to be able to work together very well. And when we look at some of the teams in this group so far, they all have some of those micro skills. The skill is there, but I think one of the things we always see lacking here is the comms, right? Is the unison of how well the team is working together. So if they're going to pull something off like that, they got to be able to rock it right. And I think KeepBest Gaming maybe just not quite there yet playing. And it seems like most of their compositions have been on the safer side, picking things like the Feramiz, you know? Picking things like the Alice Jungle. They want to try to take these fights the long way, take these games a little bit safer instead of just risking it all on one shot.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, you can see this real quick looking at the damage dealt. This is what we were talking about when that Odette was locked in and how it would really be a good counterplay to the lineup that KBG went with here. Tons of damage. You know, this is literally big damn for this Odette, and even the Fredrin still able to tank up quite a bit of damage, dealing with that front-loaded lineup and being that front lineup, and then allowing, you know, like the Charizla just to shine with the setup potential from Hehehe. So really for Xeno Zenith, they've done a good job at just playing this lineup that they have, this composition to a T, and kind of punishing KBG. And KBG finds themselves, you know, 6,000 gold behind, but really, like we saw from their previous best of one, if they can somehow hold on through, they can be okay and turn things on its head.
Xeno Zenith doing such a great job at their positioning on the map, not trying to rush it. The big mistake we saw from KeepBest Gaming last time when they lost was kind of trying to rush those finishes. Xeno Zenith taking their time with this.
Yeah, taking their time real quick with the items too, kind of locking in here. Once again, you have Shocker already having just everything that he really needs. Even the Genius Wand to help with this, you know, kind of making that even more burst damage come through by lowering the magic resistance here of KBG, and that's why in a lot of the fights, they kind of have to wait. KBG's approach to some of these team fights, even these Lord fights, they got to wait for the Swan Song to be down. They can't get caught in a penalty zone. As long as they're able to avoid that, I think they're there's a possibility that they could win on through a fight. But look, mid lane.
Ooh, a lot of damage coming from Wawa. There's
Whoa.
Shocker able to go down. We saw them able to pull this off
Zippy.
last time, but a Cold Altar, the Nether Realm comes out. Zippy able to fall as well. 2 members down for Xeno Zenith. Keep Best Gaming looking for the response. Do they turn this into a Lord for themselves? Xeno Zenith now on the back foot and Keep Best Gaming back in it.
Holy moly. As I just said, I think they're going to take the... All right. They deal with this purple, but it looks like they're going to get the Lord here. KBG, I said, you know, they have to deal with the Swan Song. Whoa, look at the damage from Zaxa.
That's a lot of damage. They didn't take that Lord quick.
Okay, they got it. KBG got the Lord, but man, look at the damage from the Lord. Put him on the damage meter.
Big damn.
Big damn right there. But going back to it, I was like, man, they just have to deal with the Swan Song Trex. And how do you deal with the Swan Song? Sometimes you don't want to deal with it in a fight. Just take it out. They got
hit her in the face.
Yep. They got Shocker. They got rid of Shocker. That's what they did. Now she's
quick.
gone. She's not singing any songs right now.
Take down Odette as fast as possible.
That's right.
Don't give her time to click the ultimate button.
Hey.
Just boom.
Tracy was on point with the Guardian's Berry as well, able to get out Zippy. That was the Sky Piercer that procced for Wawa to get that kill. So with that, I just said if they solve those things, it happened a little bit differently, but KBG now finds themselves on the offensive towards the base here of Xeno Zenith. So we'll see if all this work that Xeno Zenith has done in this game up to this point, nearly 15 minutes in, if it's enough to keep this defense up against this push.
I mean, they still have Zippy who is shredding things down. Keep Best Gaming. I think this is the time for them not to over push, not to make a big mistake here. They just got a small lead finally after a long haul. They could take this game slow, but look at Tracy. He doesn't want to take anything slow. He's in the midst under the tower, and they're able to find their first inhibitor. Keep Best Gaming take the lead of this game, not only in gold, but in towers now as well.
That is just what a turnaround for KBG. I mean, this happened to them in the previous game, so why can't they do it here? And it looks like Zaxa, wow, just smoothly sidestepping it. He's going to sidestep that penalty zone, not going to land, and now mid lane still getting some pressure from KBG, but I think that might be all they can get, unless for some reason Xeno Zenith decides to fight this portion of the map, you know, trying to get some of these resources, but it looks like they're not going to do that just yet. Zippy did pick up a Malefic Roar now, so he's got that little bit of extra shredding damage to deal with some of the tanky lineup that KBG does have. As we take a look at the items once again, fall into place. Some key defensive items also for Wawa being picked up. He needs that Athena shield. He needs that kind of defensiveness. But remember, there is a Genius 1 on the other side from Shocker to deal with. And you can see that they also got locked in the Winter's Crown now. So Shocker might be able to avoid some of that burst that he just felt from the previous fight. So these are some key item pickups that could change the course of some of the skirmishes and the team fights we saw previously. So with that, they're going to find themselves just kind of defense clearing up until this Lord does come up. And I feel like for Xeno Zenith, if they want to approach the next Lord dance, then you know, part of the big success of them winning the Lord dance with now KBG having the momentum is really positioning. They have to get control of this side of the map again. They can't just, you know, let KBG continue to hold their jungle. And they might want to go ahead and just stay clumped up together for now, because defensively they should be okay with the healing that they have with this Florence. It looks like they might force a fight even before the Lord comes up. It does come up. Wawa's going to start it out. And they're just trying to zone out Joe.
Yeah, they're just pushing these lanes in completely all around, not giving Xeno Zenith a second to breathe, which sometimes isn't the greatest. Sometimes you want to freeze, but I think they're doing a good job at it right here. Wawa going to have to back off. Lord brings him down to half health, and they're not able to force it, man. Xeno Zenith now back in the Lord pit. Joe going to kind of hold down the front side. CU is going to keep vision on them and look at the positioning. Keep Best holding down this mid lane bush, and that's exactly where they were able to find Shocker last time, and I think that's who they're looking for once again, right? Zippy or Shocker, either target is a great win.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that Winter's Crown could actually change the course of that, because earlier he didn't have it. They went in with an initiation. That's one of the powers of Grok 2. You really get a surprise setup that you can utilize. Even with the Guardian's Barrier, look at the movements they're making already, right? They might even make it and just try to surprise one member, but they can't find Zippy. Zippy's going to go ahead and clear that lane out for now. And still, neither team really wanting to commit to this Lord just yet. So still, they manage these waves. This is also time for Xeno Zenith to get the items they need Divine Glaive now picked up for Shocker. He's pretty much fully built in. Still top of the damage department too. So part of this could be just a really good play from Xeno Zenith now that they have the defensive items they needed. KBG also doing a great job at just farming up, locking in the items defensively. That's also an immortality now picked up for Saksa. So still, neither jungler really want to commit to this, and this is the interesting part.
This is the new Lord dance.
This is the new Lord dance.
You dance around.
You dance around it. You don't pull it out like before. You know, you just leave it there. You maybe juggle it around a little bit. But still, both junglers instead just want to put pressure on each other, trying to kind of whittle them down if they can. But really, it's kind of up to the teams if they want to force the initiation. They both have possibilities to do that, whether that's the Grok for KBG, whether that's Hehehe for Xeno Zenith.
So much on the line for these two teams. I mean, you can see it. You can see the pressure kind of coming into the game of both teams. Like, do we really try to force the Lord here, right? Or do we wait for the fight to happen? It's just whoever comes out on top. Both teams just taking it so slow. No one wants to even pull the Lord. We just kind of dance around. I think Keep Best Gaming, with the advantage they have in lanes right now, with the pressure they already have building on bot side, they need to continuously use Wawa here to run up to that top side, get a little more push, get a little more push, get a little more push. And just try to hold down that long lane, and eventually that's going to give them the advantage against Xeno.
See, that's the thing, though, too. Like, if you do that, if you're KBG and you do that, the power still this Moskov pick is, like, the global threat. I mean, you still got to land the Spirit Destruction. You know, you still, but obviously, if the team is doing Lord, your chances of hitting the Spirit Destruction are pretty good. Now, is it optimal where you hit it and land? You know, that's depending. That depends where you land it. But right now, look at this. They're going to force them out of the jungle.
Tracy just misses it. In comes the Spirit Destruction. A little bit of damage. He down about half health. But look at the damage on a Keep Best Gaming. They're all falling. Tracy with the immortality. He able to hold down the front side. Shocker able to find the kill onto Tracy. Saksa. Both of them fall. And Xeno Zenith should be able to turn this into a Lord take. Keep Best Gaming take the engage, but fall in the fight.
I just said it. One of the powers of this Moskov is just throwing that Spirit Destruction on a fight, and you're going to be there just like that, and then you pump out the damage. KBG wanted that fight. They forced it. They used the Retribution to fight that fight, and then they got a reality check. Because Xeno Zenith, like I said, with Shocker on this Odette and fighting in those clumped up areas with, you know, those narrow gaps, it's tough to deal with when you're working against this Odette. Tons of AoE damage, and now they're going to find themselves defending in the base.
Oh my god, look at the damage from Shocker. LMU falls. Penalty zone into the backside. Wawa getting pushed under the tower. A lot of damage onto CU as well. Immortality does. No, not Immortality, but the Frog armor pops. Xeno Zenith still there. Minions are creeping in on that boss side, but Xeno Zenith don't want to go back. They don't care. They're going to end this game first. The Lord marching down the mid side. Might need to send somebody soon. Mid inhibitor does fall, tracing the backside, able to get the knock-up on him, Shocker and Joe.
Oh no.
The Realm does come out from LMU there. Lord's still there, but the minions have finally connected onto the base, onto the top side. Just Keep Best Gaming, look for the engage, look for the stall. They did get some minions out, able to defend, but Keep Best Gaming still in this game.
Well, for KBG, at least a successful defense. They only lose that mid turret. But even with the minions, now it's pretty much even. You know, they got one turret down in Xeno Zenith base. They got one down for KBG. And so this goes back to it. You know, it's more so a 50-50 than anything. But really, when you look at these team fights unfolding, KBG is having a difficult time dealing with the backline of Xeno Zenith. How do they get there? You know, we look at the replay. Again, they wanted this fight. And look where they decide to fight in this very small space against a lineup from Xeno Zenith that is going to punish them. That, you know, that's questionable. It's like, why did you want to fight there? And, you know, and then you see this play around happen and kind of work from this. Obviously, they're feeling pretty hype about that play too, you know, for Xeno Zenith. But it makes me wonder, how fast can KBG adjust from what they just did, what they just initiated? Looking at some of the items here, I think that's going to be the last item locked in now for Wawa. It looks like you pick up the BOD, so he's got that. He's got a little bit of defense, but you're seeing also the effects of the Sky Piercers. Yeah, he sold his boots. I mean, he's fast enough. He is a wolf, you know?
He's footless. I mean, he's shoeless.
He's shoeless.
All right, so I think another big problem that we're seeing with KBG, Tracy has to land that wild charge, right? And that big fight
Yeah.
that we saw happen down there, he only connected onto one member. He was looking for two. If he could have got both of them with the wild charge, that whole fight might have gone different. Tracy is going to be huge as these fights go on. He was one of the things that was able to help Wawa get the one-hit shot onto Shocker earlier off in these matches. If Tracy can't land those, Keep Best Gaming isn't going to be able to win out in these fights. So it's going to be huge on him whether he can pull this through.
It's insane to see this too, like 0 kills for Zippy. But Zippy's just like in the back line, just shredding. Like he's just shredding people. So he's doing it in a similar way what we saw from the Monscom effect from the previous best of one against KBG. And I think they really have to solve that issue. And I think this is where you also just need to utilize these flickers. Whether that's you, whether that's Tracy, to go ahead and try to find their initiation. But this is once again, Lord going to be started up. All the information here for Xeno Zenith to deal with. They'll clear the waves, so they don't have to deal with some of that pressure being put there. They already have to hold down that bottom side. Half health on this Lord. You're going to keep CU there to tank up most of it. You see how much damage he's doing even to this X-Borg. And still decides to go for a little bit of a reset. Meanwhile, Xeno Zenith will go ahead and collect everything they need. Resources-wise and everything else. KBG, this is what we were saying they might have to do. They might have to result in just putting pressure on the side lanes. Both teams can honestly do this to an extent, but it's better if KBG does it, and then Xeno Zenith, I think, just wants to respond to it with the lineup that they have. Because really, like I said, Zippy can show up at it, on a whim. And so KBG still going for the same game plan they tried before. They're looking for that surprise factor. If they can go ahead, possibly use that conceal, find a knock-up, get the stun off, and then hopefully get a quick kill that gives them a numbers advantage. But right now, it seems like Xeno Zenith is not going to let that happen. Both teams, Lord, quite low now, 4th of the health. Do they actually just go for this?
Yeah, I think they do. Joe going to try to look for the re-engage penalty zone to the backside, and Joe takes the Lord. A lot of damage does come on a Hehe. Shocker able to protect him with that Swan Song. The KBG forced to back off. Joe with the steal to possibly bring this game into their hands.
Big Joe.
Big Joe.
Joe's been on it all night, and I mean all night in this best of one. Like he's here in this best of one on this Fredrin. He's on point with the retributions. He let KBG just do everything, and then he just swooped in. That's one thing you can't take away from Fredrin.
He just walks in with his hand in his pocket,
hand
like
in
it's
pocket.
nothing.
Retribution. I don't know if that adds to the chances of getting the retri off, but man, Joe once again in mid lane.
Lord is going to be creeping down. Spear Destruction comes in once again. Zippy enters the phrase. He brings in the penalty zone, able to try to keep Wawa away. Out comes the Swan Song, and down goes LMU. Tracy low as well. Shocker looking for another one, able to find Tracy. Zippy picks up the kill. Sasa now on the run, trying to get back under the fountain, trying to get a little bit of help, maybe able to defend, but the Lord's already connected. It's 50%. Xeno Zenith gonna lock on and take the game.
And what a game from Xeno Zenith here to close this one out, the best of one against KBG. And unfortunately, yeah, that's going to be it for KBG. That's what they were fighting